Hi, my beautiful friends. How are y'all? I hope y'all are doing well today and having a beautiful day. I know it's hot here, and I'm part Polynesian, but I don't like the heat unless I'm like at the beach and I can be in the water. So I hope everyone's staying cool today. And I want to say welcome to my channel, to Tropical Empress in Spirit. My name is Amanda. I'm glad y'all stopped by to be here with me today. And I have a question for y'all. Have you ever had like something in your house that, one of your possessions just seems to suddenly disappear? Like you put it in a specific spot and you go to grab that item, but it's gone. And you can't explain what happened to it. Asked all your, loved ones that live with you if they took it and they say no, or maybe you even live alone. But yet, you put something in a specific spot and now it's not there, it's gone. Well, if you have, then this video's for you. You want to hear this because I've gone through this myself. But first, I want to tell you about my maternal grandmother. Um, she's the one that told me that psychics runs in our family, and I got my psychic abilities from her. And so she would tell me when I was a teenager that she had ghosts in her house. In fact, she said they lived in her basement. And she would tell me how she would end up putting things in a specific spot, like putting her pair of scissors, and it had its own place. But when she would go and grab those pair of scissors, it would be gone. And she lived alone. So who could have possibly taken those scissors? So she said that she would look around the house, wouldn't be able to find it. And then she would tell the ghost that she needed her scissors back, so to please bring it back to her. And she said that she would go about her day, and by the next day, she would find them. They would be in a different place than where she left them, but she said that they would bring her scissors back to her. And, I'm just like, yeah, Grabs, you're crazy. Grabs, you done lost it. I'm laughing at her. So, um, I went and spent the summers as often as I could in California with my family, where I was born, because 99% of my family is out there, and I'm in Georgia now. But when I was in my teens, I had already been living here, and I went home one summer to spend summer with my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family, which they live like an hour and a half from each other. So I had planned out to spend 1 week with my maternal grandmother during my summer vacation out there. And I had this hat that one of my girlfriends from school had bought me as a birthday gift. And I loved this hat. It was white and it had like a dark pink rose on the front of it. And it's one of those type of hats you would see women wear like Easter Sunday for church, or even like the Kentucky Derby. It was that kind of hat. And I always try to find an excuse to wear that hat every day. I love that hat. Loved it. And so when I was at my grandma's house, I went to bed one night. Before I went to bed, I took my hat off and I laid it on top of the dresser. Well, I get up the next morning, get dressed, go to the dresser, put my hat on. My hat's gone. I'm like, where'd my hat go? And so I walked out of the bedroom into the kitchen where my grandma was at. And I said, Grams, I said, did you take my hat? She's like, no, I didn't take your hat. Why would I take your hat? I said, Grams, I don't know. But you're the only person that's here. And I know I put it on the dresser last night before I went to bed, and now it's gone. And she's like, well, the ghost probably took it. And I just laughed. I'm like, Grams, really? Okay. So she's like, well, you need to ask them nicely to bring your hat back, and they'll bring it back to you. Just tell them you need it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Grams, So I can't say if I did or didn't ask, but that was like the last day or night I was going to be there, so I couldn't stick around and wait to see if the ghost would bring my hat back. So I had to go back to my dad's side of the family's house because I was, leaving the following day to get on a plane to fly back to Georgia. So um, after I left, one of the times my grandma called my mom, and so I said, Grams, you ever found my hat? She's like, nope, haven't seen it. It's like, she's like, but did you ask the ghost to bring it back? And I just laughed. I'm like, okay, Grams, whatever. And she ended up eventually selling her house, so she had to pack up the house. And she remembered my hat, but she said she never found it. She couldn't find it anywhere. So I don't know what happened to that hat, but it found a way to disappear on its own. That's all I can tell you. I don't know where it went, but it was gone. So, and it's funny because, as many of y'all know, I just had a new house built. And, I've been spending the last, week and a half, 2 weeks here, just a few days here, and then before I have to go back to my other house to do physical therapy and all that. And so my husband came down to help, put part of the house together, furniture and all that. And I finally got a fridge. Thank you, God. I needed a fridge. So I finally got a fridge. And so this morning I get up and I put something down, and I, went back later to look for it. Can't find it. And so I go looking at my husband. I'm like, did you take it? He's like, no, I haven't even seen it this morning. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you where it's at. It's like, okay. I mean, I know I had it, there's only a few places I've been in this house. And it's not like this house is big, but there's only a couple of rooms I've been in. And I went and I searched. Couldn't find it. And I told my husband, I said, I can't find it. He was like, well, it couldn't have walked away on its own. It didn't grow 2 legs and, take off. And it's like, oh, really? I said, really? I said, now, that's not true, and which brings me to my stories. Several years ago, living in my old house that I sold about a year and a half ago, I had, woke up one morning and I had put my clothes on, and I went to my dresser to put on my jewelry, all my rings. I wore 4 rings every day, and I usually wore the same 4 rings. And I had a rings holder on my dresser that I would put those rings on before I went to bed. And so I go and to put my rings on, and all my rings are there except for one. One of them's missing. I'm like, where did my ring go? And I'm looking around the room and I can't find it. And I look all over my dresser, can't find it. And I'm just like, where did my ring go? So I start, panicking. Now I'm searching around the whole house. Can't find it. And so I called my husband and asked him, I said, did you take my ring? He was like, no, why? Why would I take it? I said, I don't know. I said, all I know is that my ring's gone. I said, and you're the only person that lives here. So where'd it go? He's like, I don't know, baby. I haven't seen it. And I didn't take it. And I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't know what happened to it. And I couldn't spend any more time trying to find it, trying to locate it or anything. So I went through and I went to my jewelry box and I pulled out another ring and went about my day. And I think it was probably the next day, the next night maybe, I go into my bathroom to brush my teeth and comb my hair, and there is my ring laying on the bathroom counter. Right there, and it's like you wouldn't miss it because my countertops were white. And it's not like I had a lot of crap laying on my counter. So I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, I found my ring, because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. So, that happened, and then I'll say probably like maybe another month later, roughly, wake up and go to get dressed, go to my dresser, put my rings on, and the rest of my jewelry, same thing again. All my rings are there except for one. And it's the same ring that's missing, which is this ring right here. As you can see, it has like a bunch of rough edges on it. It sticks out. So it was this ring. So I'm like, okay, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy that my ring is now missing again. When I know the night before, I took it off and stuck it in my ring holder with my other rings. And so I'm like, crap, what's going on here? And then I remembered the story my grandmother had told me. And I started laughing. I'm like, this can't even be possible. I mean, really, Grams, and I'm like, okay, Grams, in case you're right, maybe, one of the ghosts took it. So, and I thought about it, and it's like, it's just odd how it's the same ring that's disappearing. It's not any of my other rings. It's the same ring. Because God knows, if it was me, I'd be going after, the rings that got the biggest diamonds in them, It's like, I'm not going to go for something that has tiny diamonds in it. So, and I just kind of laughed, but then I thought about it. It's like, when my mother-in-law was alive, I remember when me and my husband, we would go down and visit her because she lived in a different state from us. And we would go visit, a week during summer and for, Christmas sometimes. And she, would always notice if I got a new piece of jewelry. And she had noticed my new ring at the time. My husband had just gotten it for me. And she had said how much she loved that ring and, how beautiful it was. So I sat there and I'm like, okay, Mom, I said, I said, if something were to happen to me, if I were to die before you, I'll leave you this ring. And she's like, oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet of you, and it made her feel good and this and that. So I sat there and I thought about it. It's like, okay, Graham, she told me they'll, take your stuff and move it. And it just so happens to be the ring my mother-in-law loved that she always talked about. So I'm like, okay. I said, I said, Mom, I said, if you're here, I said, can you kindly please bring me back my ring? I said, I know how much you love it. I said, I remember that. I know, I told you that if something were to happen to me before you, I would give it to you and I would leave it for you. I said, but that didn't happen. I said, but, I love that ring too. I said, can I please have my ring back? Just please bring it back to me, and I'm laughing, it's because this still sounds ridiculous to me, so I'm laughing. And so I grab another ring out of my jewelry box and go about my day. And the next night, or the next morning, excuse me, I get up and go to get dressed and, put on all my jewelry and everything. And then I walk downstairs to sit on the couch to put my shoes on. And I feel like something's poking me. Like I sat on something, I can feel it poking me. So I stand up, turn around, look, there's my ring laying on the couch. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. This wasn't here the night before, because me and my husband laid on that couch. And as you can see, this ring, it has all these rough edges on it. It's like, no, if it was there the night before, I would have felt it. It would have stuck me or my husband. So it was just crazy, to me. So, but I'm like, okay, finally, I got my ring back. I feel relieved. Thank you. And I'm just telling my mother-in-law, thank you for bringing my ring back. I understand how much you love this ring. I know, you cherish it. I said, but I cherish it too. And I said, but I know, you're just doing this too to get my attention, to let me know you're here. So thank you for letting me know you're here, and to let your son know that you're around still. And, I love you and miss you dearly. And, so thank you for coming by and visiting and doing that to get my attention. I know now. So, and from that point on, no, I did not put my rings back on that ring holder. I went to sleep with all my rings on. It's like, that was not going to happen to me again, But it's just funny. It makes me laugh because, what my husband had said earlier this morning to me, and knowing that he knows that happened twice to me, with the same ring. And, just, something lighthearted and, something that I just thought was funny. Just, thinking about that, especially when my husband had said that. And, plus my grams, her crazy stories telling me when I was a teenager. And, and I can't say now it's like Grams isn't crazy, but back then I truly believed Grams was crazy. So it makes me laugh, and just the memories of everything, and even today, just the crazy things that happen that I experience, all the time. I can go through so many stories of different experiences I've had over the years, and where spirits have let me know that they're still here and that I'm not alone. So this is what I want you to know is you're not alone. Even if you think you're alone, you're not alone. They're always around. And if you've ever had an experience like mine where something's disappeared and you're unsure, like what happened to it, my advice, ask the ghost to bring it back, and just ask them nicely, and tell them that you really need it back, and give it a day, and it might just appear. It just may not appear in the place you thought you left it at, but it might pop up somewhere else. So that's my advice to you. So I just, I thought this would be funny and, lighthearted to share with y'all today. And, because it made me laugh thinking about it all over again. And, I just wanted y'all to know that, if you're having that kind of experience, you're not crazy. It's greatly possible it could be a spirit coming by to get your attention. They will do things like that. So I know it sounds crazy to some, like how can spirits move things and, take things, and it's like you got to understand their energy. So in their energy, it vibrates, in our world, and that's how they're able to knock on walls, knock on tables, make your lights go on and off, or make them flash, or maybe you've had experience where they've turned your TV on and where the remote is, but somehow your TV turns itself on. Or I've had that happen too. I've had lights flash. I've had them turn my lights on and off. I've had them turn my stereo on even. I mean, it's wild. It's definitely wild. So, and those are some of the stories I'll share, later. I'll make more videos telling y'all about some of those stories where I've experienced things like that happening. But, it's just one of those things that I live with. It's my reminder that even when I feel like I'm alone, if I'm going through something, I'm never alone. And I know that, and I know they're always around. I know my loved ones and my guardian angels and my spirit guides are always here. And yeah, and every now and then, I'll even get a visit from a stranger of a spirit that I didn't know. I never knew them, that will just stop by and want to talk to me or need my help, or, may not even know what's going on, and may not even realize that I can see them or hear them or feel them or even smell them, as I have all those gifts. But it's just interesting, for me. It keeps my life interesting. And now that I'm living in a new house, have I had any of those kinds of experiences about spirits yet? Since I have two cemeteries, one on each side of my neighborhood, I can't say that I have had that happen yet, but hey, as they say the night's still young, so maybe, maybe one of them will stop by. You never know. But, with the other activity, I'm still seeing spirit orbs here all the time. I see spirit orbs every single day, multiple times a day. So I know they're here, and I do feel them. But I can't say that I felt a spirit of someone I don't know. And so, but they're around, and, it makes my life very interesting, with absolute doubt. I do enjoy it. It just makes you think, just what that's like to be on the other side like that, and, just all the things that they see and hear and feel and all that, like us, watching us. As they told me, they're still living their life through our eyes. So it's a nice reminder of that. So I just thought I would share that with y'all beautiful people today. I hope, that this video helps you, validates if you've had an experience like mine or just wondering, or just give you confirmation that, yes, spirits are real. And if you think you're feeling them or seeing them or sensing them, smelling them even, whatever, yes, they are here and they are always around. And, talk to them. That they'll hear you and give them time and they'll answer you. It may not be right away. It may not even be that day, but be patient. They will let you know one way or another. They'll send you a sign or something, let you know they're around. So, as my mother-in-law wanted to let me know, she was definitely around by taking my ring. So, it's very funny to me to think about. So, I hope this has made you smile and, laugh, giving you warmth just to know that. And if, my videos, if my topics or my readings resonate with you, my energy resonates with you, please consider liking and subscribing and sharing my videos if you haven't already. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified for future videos that I post. And I hope y'all are doing well. I wish y'all many blessings, much happiness, much love, much joy. All the great things in this life that we can all ever want and ask for. I'm sending all that to you, all that positive, good energy your way. And I hope, y'all stay cool out there because it's hot. If you're feeling the heat like me, yes, it's ungodly hot. So please stay cool and stay hydrated. So until next time, be good. Or as I like to say sometimes, be good at it.